My culture is important to me because my grandmother raised me and taught me that it's important to keep our traditions alive and practice with the foods that we eat. So we have subsistence foods like salmon and moose meat. And then I teach my kids like our language, the little bit that I do know.
My culture, being Khoikhon Dene, is the foundation to my identity. I grew up along the Yukon River in Rampart, living on the land, being part of fishing seasons and being around my family cutting up moose and learning about the plants that are around us that are edible or what they have been used for. And what I noticed as a young child, before I even understood what colonialism was, in my family, I could tell who was struggling with addictions or hard times and couldn't find healthy coping mechanisms. The difference was who was connected to the land and the culture and who had access to that. And so that's why my culture is so important to me.
So I think there's a lot of wellness that's innately in our culture, and when we practice our traditional ways, it just helps us to feel like a whole person. But also when we practice our traditions like beading or subsistence hunting or even just like funeral practices or just keeping those traditions alive, it connects us to our family, but it also connects us to other people, like a community.
I went to moose tan hiding, and each step of the way took so much physical endurance, to simply put it. Scraping the hide or tying up the hide or wringing it out. It also had a lot of rhythm to it, and we were wondering what our ancestors sung during this time or what they thought about. And also, when you are working on a hide, it's believed and it's practiced that the spirit is with the hide until the final smoke. And so you want to go into that space with a lot of respect and regard and listen to. Tom Huntington preaches about listening to what the animal is telling you to do and what needs to be done, because each hide is different and there's so many ways.
I think knowing our traditions, it's more than just like knowing how to bead or knowing how to hunt, but it's like knowing how to be a human being, and you can feel like you're a part of a community. And when you feel connected to other people and you feel confident in your own skills, I think that'll increase well-being for everybody.
After remembering forward and how our culture is shaped by the people who are in it, and it was never stagnant. And the basis of all indigenous cultures, the thread that connects us to one another across the world, is we all have that relationship and respect for the land and one another. How it manifests looks completely different depending on what continent you are, but this is how we relate. And with how the world is also going with climate change and so much violence going on and hurricanes, whatnot, it's going to be more important than ever that we bring our community back into these practices and we don't try to create band-aid solutions to really deeply rooted trauma. And also to just bring these teachings to bigger communities, because how capitalism has set us up is to constantly profit off of one another and to never have enough. And these lands used to hold so many of our people. Like, we were so plentiful and abundant, and our land sustained us in great numbers. And that's something I also forget about, because we survived. We're survivors of such atrocities. And so we have to go back to our identity and listen to the land for our healing.
Oh, why should we wait till tomorrow. Why should we wait till tomorrow? I can't wait